Welcome to Mental Health Monday. So happy that you guys are here with us. Good to see you, Dr. Whyte. Always good to see all of our viewing audience as well. And so I know we missed last week. So thank you for being patient with us and coming back. But we're continuing our discussion about marriage and relationship, and even for singles to learn and glean as much as they can. This is the time to do it. You will thank yourself that you took the time while you were single to learn things that are so very important for marriage instead of getting into a marriage and then like, oh, let me learn what I need to do. I mean, you can do it that way, but it's harder. It's much harder. Welcome, Dr. Whyte. Good to
Yeah,
see
good
you.
good seeing you as well.
How
And
has the beginning of the week been for you today?
it's been a manic Monday. It's been a manic Monday.
Has it been manic Monday? I
That's how
haven't
it's been.
had such a manic Monday. I mean, yeah. It was a good Monday, but there's a lot of things I had to do, but it wasn't too manic. So it was just
Right,
like in the
right.
middle, I guess.
Yeah, it just kind of like sneaks up on you and there's so much to do. But look,
Yeah.
man, it's fun to be doing something you feel passionate about. That is
Yes.
fun. That is meaningful.
Yes. I agree. I agree. Please put in the chat where you guys are viewing from and let us know if this is your first time watching Mental Health Monday. We want to say a very special welcome to you, but we like to know where our video, I'm not talking well today.
Our viewing audience.
I would say our video audience, our viewing audience is viewing from. Yeah, please put it in the chat so we can see
Oh
where
man.
everyone is at. Yes, I love this topic. It's
Oh
probably why
yeah.
I became a licensed marriage and family therapist, even though we deal with all aspects of or many issues that people deal with, like depression and anxiety and all of that. But we do specialize in marriage and relationships and family. And so very important to be able to either get the help that you need while you're in a marriage, even to just get some maintenance. That's very important too. But like we said earlier, getting it before you get married, you can't even put a price tag on that. Like, do the things that you need to do for you to get yourself ready to be a husband or a wife. And hopefully, the one that is the person for you is doing the same. So let's see. We have Tacoma, Washington.
Well,
That's Gwendolyn.
we got
Yes, Tacoma
Minnesota.
Tacoma is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I
We
love
got
Mount Rainier. Every time I go, it doesn't matter how many times I've seen it. It's beautiful.
yeah,
Okay, we all
yeah.
right. We have Huntsville, Alabama. Welcome. Just down the
Jace
street from me. You already
Jason
do it.
from Asheville,
Oh,
North Carolina.
okay,
Go
good.
ahead.
Yeah.
Sun
South,
in Southern California. That's right.
uh,
Represent.
yeah. Los Fre- Los
Fresno,
Fresnos, Texas. I was
Texas.
going to say Fresno, like California, but it's Fresnos, I guess. Texas.
Philadelphia.
Welcome, Blanca
Philadelphia. Yep.
from Los Fresnos. Got
Absolutely.
Philadelphia. Welcome. Good to see you here. Yeah, it doesn't look like any ones. Looks like everybody's been here before, but let us tell you, please put your questions in the chat. You help build this program. We're here for to answer your questions about marriage and relationships. And again, even for singles, this is for you too. Wow,
Yeah.
we already have a question. All right.
It's a comment.
Is it a
Um,
comment?
it's a
Okay.
comment. And before I go there, in
Hmm.
response to what you were saying, one of the most helpful, uh, I did see it on Instagram. All right, dare I say it? I saw it on Instagram, and it was really profound to me because what it talked about was when you see a couple that's been together for a long period of time
Hmm.
and they're doing well, meaningfully well, in front of and behind the camera. All right, so
Yes.
there's in front of, and my goodness, can people put on a show? People can put on a show,
Oh
but
yeah.
I mean, like in front of and behind the cameras when you can't see them performing and it's
Hmm.
still meaningful, it's still rich. What you're
Hmm.
seeing is two people who are skilled at marriage.
Yeah.
It's not just a spontaneous love for one another and they're best friends, and I do think that's really cool. I think it's really cool when you see those couples that
Mhm.
are genuinely best friends. Like, that's a beautiful thing.
Right.
But the
Yes.
other way is they are skilled at marriage. They've
Mhm.
developed the skills of how to communicate that they are hearing the other person. They've developed
Mhm.
the skill of how to respect one another. They've developed the skill of how to love one another. It's a skill.
Absolutely.
And the encouraging part of that is skills can be conditioned, they can be built, they can be developed.
Mhm.
So
That's right.
if you're not
Uh,
skilled, there is a chance that you can build the skills you need. And I heard you saying for those like people who haven't gotten married like yet, but they're in their single,
mhm.
wouldn't it be dope to actually build the skills so that you can have a fruitful and enjoyable relationship?
Absolutely, absolutely. Wanna say, Jason is a first timer. I think was that from I forgot where he was from, it went up, but I think we already said welcome to him, but he just said it's his first time. So
Well,
welcome,
welcome.
Jason,
Welcome, Jason.
to Mental
Welcome. All
Health
right.
Monday.
Now for
I
that
got
comment. You can put the comment back up, Amber.
okay, yes.
I heard a divorce lawyer say that couples should consider taking the pressure off their spouses by not demanding that they be all things to them. I'm from Minnesota. I'll
Mm.
let you take a crack at that. What are your thoughts, sis?
Oh, yeah. I thought you were gonna take the first crack. Um, well, I mean, that's a pretty broad statement. So my first thought is taking the pressure. So what is this? What is I don't know what the meaning of not demanding that they be all things to them. So all things, what does that, include? I mean, it says all. So if you're saying all, well, of course, like, they're not God to you, right? Like God is your God to you and who is ultimately um how do I say your conscience, your support system, all that stuff, that's not human here on this earth. God is that. But as a human here on this earth, I believe that your spouse, it cannot be all to you, but they should want to try to be the very best for you. I think it's like a nice dance that a couple can do where um you're trying to meet your husband's needs and your husband is trying to meet your needs, and together it's a beautiful dance, because you love each other. It's not like out of a, oh, I have to do this for him, or oh, I have to do this for her. It's motivated from love, and you actually um enjoy doing it because of love. It's like with your children, like you when they're little, you do what they are needing because you're in that space to be able to provide that for them, and you don't do it begrudgingly, you do it because you love them. What are your thoughts? Your facial expression is saying that you're going in a different direction.
That's good.
I
That's good.
know.
That's good. You can that's really you're skilled. Um,
Well,
I am.
wasn't that hard.
You know, no, you're skilled. You're skilled. So where I was going with that is one of the things that sets people up for relationship failure is
Mhm.
over expectations.
I would
So
agree.
I think a lot of people believe, it's like they're like, this is the most beautiful person I've ever met in my life, right?
Mhm.
And so they now feel secure. They're like, man, she's gorgeous. She's hot, man. I love it. She does it for me, right?
Right.
And then it could be at the wedding. You see someone and you're like, oh my goodness, she's flyer, you know? And
Mhm.
this can be a real problem for people.
Mm.
And beauty and attraction is just one sliver. It's just one
Oh,
thing.
yeah, most definitely.
There's cooking, there is conversation. There are people who
Mhm.
are just gifted at conversation. There's childcare, there's supporting you perhaps in a business, there's being able to listen to you. I mean,
Mhm.
there are like 100 different things that humans can be good at. And
Mhm.
so imagine thinking that your spouse is gonna be good at those 100 different things. Like, there are people
Right.
you're gonna converse with, and you may experience chemistry, and so for
Mhm.
some people now, that's a catastrophe. They're like, "I can't believe I'm talking to this person, and I feel more butterflies than when I'm speaking to my spouse."
Right.
Here's
So
the thing, here's
mhm.
the thing, your commitment cannot be based on, "My spouse is the best at this thing." It cannot be based on that.
Right. Absolutely not.
It has to be
Mhm.
based on a conviction and a
Mhm.
decision, better or worse. Whether you're the
Mhm.
best at that thing or you're not the best at that thing.
Mhm.
Because if you're not careful, it becomes for better until better can be gotten,
Mhm.
as opposed to for better or worse. So I think that's why I think it's a really cool idea. Don't place all these expectations on your spouse and think that
Mhm.
they're going to be the best in all categories. They're not. It's impossible.
No, absolutely, they're not gonna be the best at all categories. I like to, like, my husband is great for me and to me, but that doesn't mean he's good at everything. Does that make sense?
Well, he's human.
He's human. So, yeah, I think that that's your person because like, I feel like, I'll just use me and my husband again as an example. I feel like we complement each other well. And, but again, it's still he cannot meet all of my expectations. That's not even reality, but he does enough that makes me very happy.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And
That's
the
awesome.
parts where he doesn't, then we talk about it.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
Mhm.
When you encounter dissatisfaction in the
Right.
relationship, when you encounter dissatisfaction, that's the struggle.
Right.
And if you're not prepared, it can be a surprise. You're like, "What do I do with this dissatisfaction? Oh no, I'm falling out of love."
No.
Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's like
Mhm.
we're under this impression that if there's dissatisfaction, well, then that means it's a bad relationship per se. No, you get to work on that. You get to work
Mhm.
on that. You get to massage it, and you get to understand we live on earth where we're gonna have to deal with dissatisfaction. It doesn't automatically mean I gotta toss the relationship aside, because here's the other truth. If you jump into another relationship, guess what you're gonna run into?
Same thing. Different things,
Dissatisfaction.
but the same thing.
It's just shaking it up. You're gonna
Yeah.
discover enough, but you will be brought to a point where you're like, "Man, this is a problem," you know? And so
Mhm.
that's why it's so important to deal with this stuff.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
I
Amber,
s
where you at?
I see that there's a
All right. Okay, this is thank you for sharing this first and foremost. And look at this question 3613. We can't even say a name. All right, Q. Um, so let's see. I believe the Lord is matching me with a pastor, but I do feel insecure about being a pastor's wife. I think church members' expectations and feeling the pressure. Do you have advice? Well,
Mm. Oh,
well,
I thought they were talking to me. You wanna take a stab at that?
well, you would be
I
you're
am
the
the
best
pastor's
suited for
wife,
this.
you know?
Yeah, you're the best suited for that question. Go for it.
No, but you can follow up too.
Yeah, sure.
Um, let's see. So yeah, there is pressure. Oh, by there is pressure being a pastor's wife. I mean, if I said no, that would not be true. Um, but this is something that I learned, and this is 27 years into being a pastor's wife, is learning how to set your boundaries for yourself. Um, And that's again really in any relationship, but really important to set your boundaries that the church understands that you're not the pastor. They didn't hire you. It's not your job. They can't put things on you just because you're the wife or assume that you're going to do things just because you're the wife. But you kind of have to set that standard. I would say right away, because and then moving on to other churches, it becomes easier and easier. Like your first church, you're like, what do I do? But truly, and to find your community within that church. But you're going to have to learn the congregation, and you're not going to be close friends with the entire congregation, but you're going to find a few key people that you feel like you can trust, because it's really important to have a community for you and your family within the church. I'll tell you, the next thing is that is not necessarily your responsibility, but it's his responsibility as the pastor to he has to set boundaries. Like, your boundaries can kind of fall in place after his. He has to set the standard to the church and to the church board and say, listen, okay, I can't tell you guys what days you will take, but I know my husband had to say, look, I'm going to take Sunday and Monday off for family time. So I'm not taking church phone calls, or I'm not, doing those type of things, just so that you can, because it's easy for the church to take over your life. There's so much I could say. So it's not even for your relationship, but for the children, and it's just for the whole family. It's important for that to happen. But um, yeah,
That's
definitely, if
really
that
cool.
happens to be like you think this is happening, but if you actually get in that, if you do end up marrying this person and you do become a pastor's wife, definitely some premarital counseling from someone who understands the lifestyle of a pastoral couple would be very important. What do you have to say, Dr. White?
First and foremost, you do have a pastor's wife here, so if you want to like ask any more like specifics,
Yes.
you've got a witness.
Yeah.
You said like so first of all, you know, we can't necessarily customize our responses because we don't really know your situation. But
Mhm.
you said here, I believe the Lord is matching me with a pastor. So if you were in counseling with me, that's one of the first things I would say, hey, can you share with me? Can you tell me more about what why you're saying you believe the Lord is matching you with a pastor? What is your evidence of that? What is your statement? Because not you, Q, but some people they ascribe to the Lord things that are not to that. No, the Lord didn't tell you to do that. And so sometimes it's just interrogating that and making sure God really and truly is telling me. And here's why that's so important. Once you can be clear, it's God talking, nobody else has anything to say. it's like it's like you're locked in. If I'm
Mhm.
convinced God is telling me to do something, I'm not really asking any, more questions. And I don't know. Maybe I'll get counsel on how to do it, maybe. But as to whether or not I'm doing it, I really don't need any counsel in that direction. God asked me to do
Mhm.
it. Now I'm doing it. So that's the reason. That's one of the things I would ask. But then the next piece is, but I do feel insecure about being a pastor's wife. And so it might be cool to unpack what about it is making you feel uncomfortable.
Right.
And this is where some self-awareness is important. And this is where
Mhm.
it's important to take some time to really become aware. Who am I? What are my strengths that I can bring to this? What are my weaknesses? And are there things I can work on? So, for example, if you're a pastor's wife and you have social anxiety disorder, you got to work on that.
Yeah. Oh,
You
yes.
gotta you gotta work on that. That's
Yeah.
and there are tools to help you work on that. If you don't like to
Mhm.
converse with people, you got to work on that.
Mm-mm-mm.
You got to work on that. If you don't know how to work a room, you got to work on that.
Mm-mm-mm.
If you don't know how to set healthy boundaries for both of you,
Mhm.
and so that it's not just a matter of insecurity, but protecting him, you got to work on that. So I think it's interesting when we talk about people of high value and people say, hey, I want to partner with this person of high value. And it really is a fishbowl experience. It's a fishbowl experience. It's like the relationship is put under so many pressures. Like there's a
Mhm.
lot of people looking at you. There are days you've just gotten into a rip roaring fight, and now you got to go out there and perform. Now you got to go out there and function. How do
Mhm.
you do that? You see, then you have to see what the children go through. in that experience, and then how that impacts you. So you can see the emotional intelligence required. Uh, it's exceeding. And so the good
Mhm.
news is though, there are skills that you can build. There are, and once you become aware of, hey, what are my deficits? Okay, now I know to work on those. What are my strengths? Well, now I know how to reinforce those. What are the skills that are essential for pastors' wives? So I think it's a good question, but for me, the thing that really sticks out is I believe the Lord is matching me with a pastor. In other words, I feel like the Lord is bringing us together. I would really want to get clear on that. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts? What are your thoughts?
No, 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 I already said what really what I wanted to say. The way that it was worded, I feel like not that she thinks, like, in the future, and I'm not saying you're saying that, but just to be clear, it seems like she has met the person and God is bringing them together.
Yeah, yeah. It
Yeah,
sounds like
that's how
she's
I
not
took
the
it
person.
too.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's how I took it. Yeah. And
Yes.
so now it's just getting clear. But yeah, those are
Mhm.
some good questions.
Okay.
All right. We got some great questions today. Bring them on.
Yes.
Is there a difference from being aside from God, all things different from doing all things? Veronica, you're going to have to help me out with this one. Is there a difference from being aside from God, all things different from doing all things?
I think she's connecting it to that very first question. Like if this or not question, that comment where they were like, is it that we shouldn't expect our spouses to be all things
Oh,
to us?
Atonte is brilliant. I mean, just
Yep.
brilliant. Just that ability to just no,
Wow.
and that's brilliant because I was not connecting it to that. My mind was just going, oh my
I just
goodness.
think that's just because the wording sounds similar.
Is
Do
there a
you wanna take a
difference?
stab at that?
Let me see. Is there a difference from being
I think we
all
kind of
things
already answered it
different from
though.
doing all things? I know it I think whether you're saying they're being or you're saying they're I mean, for sure, you can't do it all.
Mhm.
But as far as trying to be all things, so I'll give you an example. For example, all right, let me take you into the recesses of my private relationship. Uh, so let me see. Let me see. Um, I would say, what is the thing? Okay, my wife is not that crazy about entrepreneurial thinking. Like she's not that
Mhm.
crazy about it. So if she's gonna help me with something, I have to be very specific and concrete. And the same thing with my daughter. They're like, I
Mhm.
don't, just give it to me specific. Like, what is the specific thing you want me to do? And once I've
Mhm.
got clarity, they're all over it. They're
Right.
all over it. So it would be unfair for me to now try to bring her into, hey, there's a new concept I'm working on. Can you help me flush this out? Like it's unfair for me to do that. Now my
Mhm.
collaborator who's over in Portugal, oh, we can sit there and do that all day. I mean, all day. I mean, she's
Mhm.
just she understands where I'm going conceptually. So it's that's an example. I don't try to have her be with me at these like super conceptual and obscure theories and stuff like that. No,
Mhm.
not helpful. So that's where whether it's being or it's doing, you can't do all things.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, I think you covered it, and she said, "My husband is everything to me, but I don't expect him to do everything for me." So, yes,
Got it.
I think the way you answered that was great. I think tag on to how you answered the first one. I
Uh-huh.
think that's perfect. Do
Okay.
you believe in the role of women as in taking care of the home and the role of a man as to working and providing? And is it wrong if the roles are reversed?
You're gonna take a first crack? Or you want me to take a first crack?
um, no, to answer it plainly right out the gate, no, I don't think it's wrong if the roles are reversed. If we're talking about every situation is different. My husband's a better cook than I am. So should I not utilize his skills? I do utilize his skills, and the other thing is he loves to do it. He loves to cook. It's not like it's the bird. It's not like I don't cook, but, you know, when the kids were home, I would do like he definitely did more dinner meals than I did. Now I'm doing a lot of other things now I'm better at the administrative things of the home, the business side of things. I just am naturally better at that. So I do more of that. Not that he's not involved in that at all, but I do more of that. But he does more cooking. And guess what? We're happy because we know he's better at cooking. I'm better at making sure, you know, things are getting done administratively for the family. I mean, he works and he brings in the money so I can pay those bills. I work too, but I'm just saying, I'm just saying like it works for us. There's no now if you're talking biblically and talking about submission and going into all of that, that's a different question, right? Because every that's a different question. But just specific as far as roles go, we have found that he's happy for me to do that, and I'm happy for him to cook, and he's happy to cook, and I'm happy to do that. So that works for us.
I think that was beautifully said. The answer is absolutely a resounding no. Is that wrong? No. My marriage, I think, enhanced significantly when I adopted a certain premise. And that premise was whatever it takes, whatever it takes. My view of a home is I view it as a firm. And I believe in a firm, what you do is you set goals for the firm, you set a vision for the firm. And then as a family, your goal is to work together to get that firm's goals realized. And life is very interesting in contorting itself and changing itself in ways that bring different things out of people. And I think what you focus on is what's moving us forward. And here's why. You get people who are locked into he's the man of the home. He makes the final decision and this kind of stuff, right?
Mhm.
Like there are categories where I absolutely have the last word.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
And there are other areas where I don't want the last word on that. I have no interest in having the last word on that. No, she has her areas of dominion where it's like my last word will jack everything up, you know? No, she's got a
Mhm.
command of this area. And that's the other thing. Like it's
Mhm.
like so that's really important. Like these arbitrary, okay, well, we have this role and like so where should there be submission? I think there's submission to the mission. That's in
Mhm.
my estimation. We need submission to
Mhm.
the mission. What is the goal? We're all
Mhm.
submitted to that mission. Um,
Mhm.
there are areas where I do take responsibility because I'll tell you this, if you guys are homeless tomorrow, Sister Tante, um, nobody's looking at you.
Mhm. Yeah.
Nobody's looking at you.
They're looking
Everybody's
at
looking at,
yeah.
"Bro,
Mhm.
you messed up, man. Your family is
Yeah.
like, what happened, bro?" You know? And these are some
Yeah.
realities that you just have to be aware of. Like, so this is the
Mhm.
reason why there are some things that you are responsible for because ultimately people are like, "You jacked up." Now, obviously, they can be looking at your spouse on some level. This is not exactly a mark of, a shining spotlight. No, it's a reflection on both of you, but it's especially the
Mhm.
man. They're like, "Bro, man,
Oh, yeah.
what happened? You're responsible."
Mhm.
So, those are
Mhm.
some realities that at times make people uncomfortable, and they wanna say that we're identical, and that to me is the argument that is a challenge. It's almost like
Mhm.
secular culture wants to say the man and the woman are identical. We're not. It's fine to say
No.
we're equal. We are equally
Right.
valuable, agreed. We're not identical. We're not identical, and I
That's
think
right.
that is the fallacy.
Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely, yes. Please continue to put your questions on marriage and relationships in the chat. And I don't know if we have any singles out there. We welcome your questions as well. So please, we definitely have more time to take your questions and even, comments, positive comments as well. I'm seeing some things pop up, but yeah, I
Oh,
think
Clint.
going back to
Welcome, Clint.
that question. Oh, did something
Yeah,
new come up?
and
Okay.
Clint is on. Welcome, Clint.
Oh, Clint. Hi, Clint. I was wondering where you
Exactly.
were. Did you come late,
Are
Clint?
you tardy? Are you tardy? Do you need to go to the principal's office?
I know. I
Just kidding.
know. Let's
What but
see.
before
Working
you go there,
to
were you
get
gonna say something? What
go.
were you gonna
Mhm.
say?
I was just filling airtime
Oh,
actually. I was well,
I
I'm trained in
I
broadcasting
thought you
first, right?
I thought you
That's
had a
always my
kernel of truth. I
go-to.
was like, "I'm not gonna miss that kernel." What were you gonna say?
No, I was just going back and
I
to
see.
see it because there was no
I
active
see.
question. So I was like, all right, let me go back
Okay.
to that one and see if I can pull some more things out. But I think you
Okay.
definitely exhausted
Okay, awesome.
that one enough
All right. So
for
Clint said,
sure.
working together to figure out each other's role in this cooperative relationship is very important. Um, Absolutely,
Absolutely,
man.
Clint.
Absolutely. But it's like the ego
Absolutely.
disappears when you view the household
Mhm.
as a firm and you see these
Oh yeah.
goals like, dude, if I can do it, what do I let me do it. If I can't do it, let me and I'll tell you this, on some level, I believe this is true. Like when your family sees you working hard, if they have hearts, assuming they have
Mhm.
hearts, it naturally evokes from them. It pulls from them, "Hey, let me help this person. Let me help this person." The display can command support. Now, I'm sorry if you're in a situation where like, dude, are you kidding? I've put it all and they don't appreciate anything. Okay, well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that's the case.
Yes, and Clint wants us to know, no, he was early. He says, "I'm usually punctual." That's
All
right,
right, Clint.
Clint. We just didn't see you say anything in the
Yeah.
chat. Okay, there's a question, or why when we discuss relationships/marriage are the desire of children such a downplayed or minimized aspect of marrying in your 20s? I don't know if I understand that question completely.
Why, when we
Um,
discuss relationships slash marriage, are the desire for children such a downplayed or minimized aspect of marrying in your 20s? So they must be saying that the desire for children is something that's minimized, or maybe we don't talk about it enough when we're talking about getting married in your 20s. I'm not sure. I'm not
mm.
sure why you say that.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Maybe you could,
Take another crack at it.
to Enoch. Is it Enoch? Yeah. Can you give us a little
More,
bit more clarity so we know exactly what you're
yeah,
asking? And then we'll try to
yeah.
answer it.
Something about you. How do you get?
All right. Okay, this is a comment, not a question. As a young single, well, welcome, young single. I'm happy that you're here. A woman, it's becoming very hard to find a good, godly man. I don't know where they are. Guys, we talked about this. Before we answer that, I'm going to tell you, we are seriously talking. We are having serious talks about starting a singles ministry here at LMOC Church. So I'm just putting it out there, but just definitely sign up for alerts and all of that and watch us so that you can know when we do that.
I
Not saying they're all here. That's not the only place you can meet somebody. That is a struggle. But we've talked about this before, and I'll just say this, and then you can there's definitely look, like, we live in a different time than we used to. There are dating sites, Christian dating sites, Adventist dating sites that I know we've had couples on here say, "Oh, we met at a Adventist online dating site," and I'm not saying that everyone's going to do that, but that's an option. Of course, there's of course church. You can meet them at church. Um, yeah,
well,
it's
here's
it's yeah, and plus and it's God leading you. Every individual is different, every situation is different, but go ahead, Dr. White.
But okay, so first of all, this is a cruel comment, but like it's almost like saying, where is a Rolls Royce when you need one? You know? Or where is what is the most rarest metal? I mean, even beyond platinum. Why isn't it abundant? Because it's precious. It's precious. Like when you find it, oh my goodness. Like those of us who find a great wife, no, it's not common.
Right.
It is not common. And
Mhm.
so yeah, because it's just something just so valuable. It's just such a valuable thing to find a person who is high value. So that's not really the thing. The thing is, put the energy into preparing and being ready. But all that
Right.
said, I do fantasize. I do fantasize about the Mastermind Institute putting together a singles event where it's like
Mm.
where
And collab with LMOC Church, could you
I
collab
am
with us?
open to I'm seriously open to a collab, seriously open to collab.
Okay,
What I'm
okay,
envisioning like a training component because to
okay.
honor the thing that I really believe that this is a skills-based thing. So imagine the people commit to a skills base, so you learn the skills, but then we bring together, people in a nice posh setting and
Mhm.
they get dates. They get whether it's 5-minute
Mm,
dates. So if imagine if it was like a yacht and like you get like that 5 to 10 dates that evening, and then we figure out how the ones that really worked for you. But to your point,
did you get that idea from the speed dating concept? Because there's that speed dating or did you come up with this concept on your own?
no, I mean, I've seen speed dating before. I mean, I've seen it. So, no,
Okay,
I'm not really coming up with an original idea, but
okay,
to
no,
the
I was
prior
yeah, mhm.
point, like, you gotta put some intention into this thing. Like, we gotta help the singles, you know? I know so don't you know
Right.
people who are just like, "These are some beautiful individuals," right? And
Mhm,
it's so sad that they don't find their partner, you know? Um,
mhm.
and, it's yeah. It's a real struggle. I know of it. By the way, I know of a young man who is a very eligible bachelor. And it's not me. So this is so obviously it's not me. I'm very 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 married. But I know of a young man. He is what?
You don't even know the age
No
of
no
this
not
young
not this
lady.
one. Like I mean I'm
Okay, I thought you were, like,
another
doing
age.
some online setting up already.
He
I
is
was
what?
like, "Wait a
He's
minute."
40. What is he? No, 37. He's 37. I know of a young eligible
Okay.
bachelor. He's 37. So if you are an eligible bachelorette, Adventists. He really prioritizes Adventists. All right. So hit me up at info at the Mastermind Institute. Info at the Mastermind Institute.
Okay, look at us already doing
Yeah.
singles ministry here.
Yeah.
We do
Hit me up at info at the Mastermind Institute.
Okay,
He's
okay,
37. So just FYI.
yes. Okay, let's see. How do we get rid of spiritual warfare in your head? I believe in spiritual armor, and I probably need to repent or brand loyalty.
You're right. So just to
Okay.
round out the other one, put a one in the chat if you guys would be interested in Living Manna, White, and the Mastermind Institute collaborating to put together a single event. Put a one in the chat if you're like, I would be so interested. Yeah, and put so interested. Like you would be really excited about this cuz don't you hate when we go through the trouble, we put together all this stuff and it's a dud. No,
Right.
we want to know, would you really be interested in us going through the struggle and putting
Mhm.
together an event like that? Would you be interested? All right. Now to you, Scott. How do you get rid of spiritual warfare in the head? I believe in spiritual armor and I probably need to repent for brand loyalty. You're going to take the first crack?
No, I'm gonna let
All
you.
right. So you want to view the mind almost like an ocean in a sense, right? Or a pool, more like a pool. And the question you have to ask yourself is, what are you dumping into that? What are you filling it with? What is the content you're consuming that is ending up in that pool? If you fill up your pool with trash, are you going to be surprised when you see trash in the pool, when you see maggots and rats and all this other kind of
Mhm.
stuff? That's what you filled it up with. And now contrast that with if you fill it up with beautiful water and you get the right temperature and you put the right chemicals in there so that the bacteria dies, is there going to be any surprise that it's a sparkling, beautiful pool with no mold? Of course you're not.
Mm.
So Scott, the thing you really have to pay attention to is what are you pouring into your mind? What are you pouring in?
Yeah.
What are you consuming? That is absolutely how you insulate your mind from wretchedness. Like that is absolutely. Um I think it's in Psalms 1 no less, where it warns you, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of godly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. That verse just told you, do not walk, sit, do not walk, stand, or sit in the counsel of the ungodly.
Mhm.
Don't walk with them, don't stand with them, don't sit with them. All right. And you will be
Mhm.
blessed. It's like it's giving you hardcore, awesome advice. All right. For you shall be like a tree that's planted by the rivers of waters. So the idea being when you're dealing with the mind, please understand, what are you filling it with? I can't tell you how many people pick up a book and start reading it, or choose a program on television and start watching it without asking the question, who wrote this book? Who wrote it? What does their lifestyle look like? Is it congruent with what I'm trying to aspire to? You know, what is their objective? And like,
Mhm.
it's like me walking into my dining room right now and seeing a plate of food and just starting to eat it. Like, and that's my dining room. Imagine just happening into a place and you see a plate of food. Would you just start eating it? You'd be like, who is that for? Who made it? Why did
Mhm.
they make it? How long has it been there? You know? So things we consume, we automatically process it. You pick it up,
Yes.
you read the package, you're like, well, what are the ingredients in here? But we don't treat what we view that way. We don't treat what we
Right.
consume that way. And then when we've lost control of our minds, when we're going to places we have no business going, we're wondering why we're going there because that's what we filled our minds up with. And so, Scott, we
Mhm.
want to you want to fill your mind with the content that is spiritually uplifting. Now, does that mean that will ward off all attacks? No, because there's also another reality that Sister Atonte and I think she'll agree with. Thought impulses you can't control. There are impulses that will come into your mind. You can't necessarily control them. We can debate where they're coming from, but that's irrelevant. They come into the mind. But you must understand, a thought impulse is an invitation for you to dwell on it. You can reject the invitation. You don't have to, just because that thought came into your mind does not mean you have to give it contemplation and you have to give it time and space and mental energy. You can reject it. And how do you reject it effectively? You choose a better one. You choose a better thought process. That you get some kind of immoral thought about, I don't know, the opposite sex, like it comes in and you choose to go to, that was a spiritually uplifting sermon, and how am I going to apply it to my life? The beauty of the mind is it really struggles to have two thoughts going at once. It really struggles. It has to choose one. Well,
Mhm.
you get to direct it to the one of your choosing.
All right. Yeah. Great. Great answer. Um, okay. So Enoch is asking or saying, clarifying what the question was. I think that an important reason to encourage marriage in your 20s because children are easier to get younger than older. And I read that you're more likely to have boys when you're younger.
Um, so I don't know about that.
I
I
don't know
never
about that
came
either.
across that
Never.
in med school. that you're more prone to get boys when you're younger. I never heard that. And then the other piece
Mm-mm.
in that statement is I think when you marry, you really should take some time to get to know one another. I think that's really
Yes.
important. And a lot of people, they one of the things they do is they travel because from 1 to 5, 1 to 7, 1 to 10, traveling with someone below 10, it can be a real struggle. It can be a real struggle. It can take the fun out of traveling for some people. Bless you.
Mhm.
And
Thank
so it
you.
can be so cool that you guys had that bonding time before the child came. So now the other piece to where it's like I'm not excited about getting having children in my 20s is there's a maturation that needs to take place, and
Mhm.
maturation in every way. Maturation in terms of your thinking, maturation in terms of your finances, maturation in terms of your professional growth. There's a lot of things that
Mhm.
it can be really cool for those things to happen so that when your kids come into the picture, it's more stable. And you're more mature and ready, and you have more options to give them a better experience. What are your thoughts?
You took the words right out of my mouth, especially the maturity part. I was definitely more mature for the yeah, we call them sets. Our younger set got a more mature version of us than our older set because we were in our 20s, yeah, we were in our 20s and we started having the younger set like, 30, 31, 32, 33 age. And we were just more mature and just more seasoned in life. Um, so yeah, I mean, but it's not telling anybody when to have their kids. I just there's not a science, but I definitely agree with you that you can be more stable and a mature wise and even financially, to be able to not have to stress so much about the things that you do in your younger 20s. Okay. In the Adventist home, it says we may always let's say we may always bear with friends infirmities and with ignorance, but never with his vices. My boyfriend and I are the same faith, but I'm stronger spiritually right now. Okay. So that's a statement. Okay. So the question is, how do you know when it's time to walk away? Okay, I didn't see the wait, is that the same? I'm confused now. I'm sorry, guys. That question that's up now, does that connect it to the question I just read with the that she's stronger than the boyfriend right now? I'm assuming? I don't know. Is that a connection? Okay, I think Amber's gonna let me know if that is the same. But I'll take us but while we're waiting, as a woman, how do I know when it's time to walk away versus when to support and encourage my boyfriend before marriage, for example, with spiritual I think that's a part of the same question, with spiritual growth and when dealing, with an addiction. Um,
Man, I wish these people were live. We gotta talk about
I
that.
know,
We gotta talk
I
about that.
know.
Like, if we could bring her on right now
I
and
know, we could get more
we can,
detail.
like, and contextualize it a bit more. You know what? That is
Right. I mean, I would say definitely if a relationship becomes emotionally or physically abusive, it's definitely a sign to walk away. I mean, this is not marriage. We're talking about boyfriend.
right. Well, I mean, we're you know? So
But we can't
right,
tell
right,
you you have to
right.
walk away right now, but
How about I can tell you things that would concern me, okay? Right,
yes, especially
right,
as a mother or a father of a young adults. We both have young adult
right.
children, and if they were in this
As a
situation,
woman, how do I know when it's time to walk away? So I'm gonna answer this question like, if my
I mean, I'm
so
considering this as a young adult.
yeah,
Maybe
so
it's
if
not a
my
young
if my
adult. Go
daughter
ahead. Go
came
ahead.
to me and she was like, Dad, when is it time for me to walk away versus when is it time for me to support and encourage? All right, here we go, y'all. Here we go. Here we go. I remember one time I had a close family member ask me, yo, man, when am I ready to get married? When am I ready to get married? And what I shared with my family member was, you are ready to get married when you have positioned yourself to provide. When you've positioned yourself, don't look at marriage in terms of what can you get out of it. Look at it in terms of what can you bring to it? What can you deliver? So here's what I would say to you, man. And if you guys can put your name with your question so that we can like tell you, that'd be awesome. Or maybe not. Maybe you want to stay anonymous. So remain anonymous.
Maybe they don't want
Yeah,
to.
remain anonymous. Um, what I would say is, it's only reasonable that a person would want to position themselves to add value to your life. Now, not only is it reasonable, so it's reasonable for you to expect that, and in fact, it's reasonable for you to expect that they would want to do that for you. That's reasonable. So that said, if a person is struggling with something that removes you as a priority, it would make sense for them to conquer that thing and then better position themselves to be able to bring value to you, right? I mean, that would just seem simple. So I'm just saying, personally, as a man, um, I know I'm ready for marriage when I'm ready to add value to your life. And personally, I wouldn't feel like I was ready for marriage if I'm not in a position to add value to your life. Now, it doesn't mean I will never be in that position. Just because I'm not in that position today doesn't mean I'll never. It just means there are some steps I need to take. There are some things I need to do that will better position me to add value to this person. And one more thing, and please keep this in mind. Like, this, you have to remember with breakups, like, when you really, and I mean really, love a person, really
Mhm.
love them, it wouldn't hurt you if there's someone else they could be with that would make them happy. Now, I'm talking about real love. When you really care about a
Mhm.
person, you would have to say, if you found someone that would make you more happy, that's okay with me, because ultimately I'm committed to your happiness.
Mhm.
So take what you will from that. That's my perspective, because ultimately I can't really tell you provide support. Don't provide support. I'm not really in a position to tell you that, but I can tell you, if my daughter was asking me this question, I would say, when you step into a relationship, you both should position yourself to bring something to it. And if you're not in the position to bring something to it, it doesn't make you bad people. It just means you need some time, get in that position, then you can talk about relationship.
Mhm. Yes. Can you marry a person? Okay, can you marry a person you you both live in separate houses and only come together for intimacy?
So
Um,
can you be married and live apart, basically? Can you be married and live apart?
okay, got it. Thank you. Because I was going another direction with that. So, think that was brilliant, Doctor White.
I received that. I received that. Thank you.
Okay. It's not okay, that is not I don't know why I'm spacing on my answer, but my answer is there, sorry. Um, that is absolutely not a good thing. I mean, I definitely, if at all possible, I mean, it needs to be possible. If you are apart, it needs to be for a very short time, but it is not healthy for a marriage for you to live apart and only come together, for intimacy. Absolutely not healthy thing. Marriage is more than that. You need to be in the same space. And when I said sometimes there's a situation where you're working towards that, maybe the job or school or something's having you be separate, but that should not be long term by any means. So the quick answer is no. It's not healthy for the marriage.
Um, that's interesting. I would say most of the times it's healthy to be in the, same space, but I think there are a lot of people fantasizing that it's like, take some older people, right? And ever since I became, 50, older is now like 90.
Exactly.
Well, there are some people who they are settled. They have their home, and their partner, they have their home. Neither one of you want to sell your home, right? Neither one of you want to sell your home. You don't want to feel like you're in your own space, and so you just being enjoy being in your own space. I could foresee how you might have a relationship where you're like, obviously we got to be in one of those houses when it's time to have sex. I get that. Um, but you're so comfortable in your own space. I could see how you might say, let's figure out how we can blend our lives, but we want to be married, but we really enjoy our own space. So in that kind of setting, are you like, no?
I was like, I've never disagreed with Dr. White so much. Just because I won't name any names, but I had a family member, exact situation you're talking about, like exact situation. And then it was just comfortable for them. And they were an amazing couple together, but it was just comfortable for them because they did exactly what you just stated. But when it was easy, when they had disagreements, guess what? It was just easy to go to their own house and not really
With the
deal
situation?
with
Did did they
the
end up
stuff. You
did
know
they
what I'm
end up
saying? So
working
it's
out?
like, I mean, it's kind of, you're basically saying, oh, you could go to another room, you could do that in the own house. But no, when you have your own whole house that you're paying like a mortgage or you own it already or whatever, you just go back to your house. Like I think it's hard to build a true marriage connection, even, and they were
No,
older, like you stated. And then after 5 years of living in the two houses, they're just like, you know what, we got to choose one house to go to. And then their marriage really flourished and took off. So I just don't think that would be the best at all.
well, one could argue.
That's just not like, this is real marriage. Like, it's like guys should have just remained boyfriend and girlfriend forever if that's what you wanted
Well,
to
but
do. Well, and I don't want you to just get, did you just get married for sex? I'm just saying, like, because you want to stay in your own places, but you come together for sex in one place, but then you can't live together. Like, I'm
well
sorry. That's not
well, I was
marriage.
listening for you to say that the relationship didn't work out, but it sounds like
No, it worked out when they came to get when they moved in together. But during that 5 years that they did their own places, they every week they had something they were fussing about, and then they would just, because he would come to her house, she would go to his house. Mainly he came to her house though. And they were married, and then they'd fuss about something, and then he'd just go back to their house, and then they wouldn't talk for like a week, or it was just crazy. It was foolishness. But then once they came together in one house, that kind of stuff stopped. I'm not saying it was just the housing, but the
played a
housing
role.
situation didn't help having two separate
Yeah,
houses.
it's just that with the how many marriages do you suppose are on the planet? If there's like 8 billion people, there must be, let's conservatively say there might be a billion marriages, maybe. Like, let's say, I don't know, let's
Yeah.
say 500 million. Let's be conservative. 100 million. How's that? 100 million
Mhm.
marriages. So like just 100 million scenarios. For me, it's foreseeable that in a small smattering of those 100 million marriages, a two household system works. That's what I'm saying. Now, to your point, I think in a majority of the situations, the goal is get in the same situation and work it out. But there are just such diverse things happening that
Yeah, I mean, I would never be like, "Absolutely never." There's absolutely no situation, but I have just but I've just experienced that it's not the best for the majority of situations, but I'll never say absolutely never, never, never. And I wanna say to Veronica, she says, "I know an older couple that's been married for decades, but have been living in separate bedrooms. Is that very different?" No, I don't think that that's good either. I definitely, when I'm working with couples, I'm definitely encouraging them to get in the same room and
what
sleep in the
about when
same.
one of the couple members snores?
I know you're gonna say
What about
snores. I think they then I encourage them to go to, I think, an ENT to see if they have sleep
You know what
apnea.
cured my snoring?
Did you get a CPAP?
I got a CPAP machine.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I know that's what everybody
I got
that's
a
what
CPAP
everybody need. Well,
machine.
let me not. I'm not a doctor.
Alright. No,
But
no,
you
I
should but you
it
should go and check it out for
dude,
sure.
it changed the game for me. It changed
Yeah,
the game.
I know.
But
I
it was
my
so hard for my spouse. It was so hard for my spouse
I
before.
could imagine. I could
Yeah.
imagine. Um, Somebody else said something and I was gonna say, but we'll Oh, I know what I was gonna say. I was just gonna tag on to that. The reason why I always encourage my couples if there's some reason why they're sleeping apart, that they need to come together even if they're in the same house is because honestly, I mean, it sounds crazy, but you wouldn't know how many times I've had to prescribe sex for homework because there was just not enough of that happening in the marriage. Like a couple of times a year, or do you see what I'm saying? Like those type of things, like you, because they're just like, oh, we're busy and we're stressed, and then we're just tired when we get home. And so it doesn't help when you're in two separate rooms or not in the same bed. So
Isn't it
that,
isn't it
that's a whole nother. We should do a whole program on that. But go ahead.
'cause I'm like, isn't it interesting how, like, people have these, like, sexual, proclivities and experiences where
Mhm.
it's like they're just running into, like, casual sex, right? But then
When they get married, it's all
as
it's
you
yeah,
get married or, like, you're in marriage for a while, the high percentage of relationships that are sexless.
right.
It's like
You would not,
it was so interesting because it's like it's so counterintuitive. It's like, you've been
right.
fighting for this.
Now it's time.
Right.
Have as much as you want, but
But the interesting thing
now
is,
they
like,
don't.
and it's the courtship period that really needs to be sexless because
Right.
now you're going to actually see you get courtship gives you a front row seat to what your partner will be like when they're tested. Like,
Right.
this is the thing people miss about courtship. It is during courtship. It's a unique period in the relationship where you get to see how your partner, potential suitor,
Mhm.
handles being sexually tested. You get to
Right.
see it.
Right.
And so a lot of people, they rush past
Yeah.
it. They rush past it, and you've missed the opportunity to get a front row seat at how they handle sexual temptation.
Right. Absolutely.
And rather than growing together and learning, okay, well, this is what you do, this is what you don't do, this is how you set boundaries, and they grow through that period, it's like they start having sex and they miss the opportunity to see
Mhm.
what each other, it's a front row seat to how each other handles sexual temptation. That's what's unique
Right.
about courtship.
We have time. We're all out of time, but we have one more question, and you guys, please save your questions for next time. But this one is our last one, the one you see there on your screen. It says, I don't have a desire to have children, and I don't think I really want them. Is that wrong?
Well, I'll give you
Great
my experience.
question.
Yeah, I'll give you my experience. Last chick one. So I remember my wife and I, we were like, we don't want to have children. We were, I think, I'll be honest, we had really, really high standards for
Mhm.
when you have kids. And so you're like, I don't want to do it. Well, lo and behold, God had other plans. Right? God had
Good
other
for
plans.
God.
God had other plans. And we had, yeah, we ended up having our daughter. She is the best part of our collaboration. Like,
Oh,
she is
beautiful.
the best part of our collaboration, the best thing in our, lives.
Mhm.
So, it amazes me how it can be a situation where you don't want something and it actually delivers to you something you didn't even know you wanted or needed.
Yeah.
So, that was my experience with that. Now, that doesn't mean that would be your experience with it,
Right.
but that's my personal experience with it. It gave me something. It gave me one of the best things in my life. It stretched me. It taught me about being selfless.
Mhm.
Uh,
Absolutely.
And I'll tell you what else, last chick. Uh, we are rapidly entering into a phase, an age where everyone we know and love would have either died or is in the same situation that we're in. So you can
Mm.
see how much we're gonna be able to help one another. We are rapidly getting to that phase where
Mhm.
people before us, the people who the adults that love, they'll have passed, they'll have died, and the remaining people that know us and love us, we're like the same age, except
Yeah.
who? Our children.
Yeah.
Our children. We're entering into that phase where the beauty of a child is they now have entered into their maturity, they've entered into
Mhm.
their power, they've entered into their influence in a
Mhm.
moment where you are vulnerable. You're
Mhm.
vulnerable. And they're there and they can offer you that care. That's the beauty of children. That's the beauty of investing in the future. So that's something
Mhm.
to keep in mind for those who say, "Hey, I don't want to have children."
Yes, and to answer the question, and Veronica, yes, you're right. Childhood trauma can cause you to not want to have kids. It doesn't have to be childhood trauma, but it's possible. Just for her comment is just FYI. I think that's just fine. I think it is like it's not a sin not to have children by no means. Like it's just not. However,
No,
I
correct.
think Ricardo and I are both talking from a personal level that the blessing that it has been, well, I'll speak for myself. The blessing it's been
It's been a
for
blessing.
me, that how it has just been a part of God's plan for my life and to help, I believe, grow me and draw me closer to Him through my children. And my children are a blessing, especially now that they're adults. Man, they are a blessing. They
You
really
know
are a blessing.
you know what's funny? When people think about children, right? They think about, like, that period where they're the biggest pain, frankly, where it's like they're difficult and they're challenging. It's like from, like, 0 to 10. It's
Right.
hard. I mean, it's
Well, wait, where you
really
leave it?
hard.
Where you leaving teenage out? I think
But now teenage it becomes difficult in another way. It becomes
in another
challenging in
way.
another way.
Having
Like,
children is that whole thing, and anyway,
it's
until those
challenging,
chromosomes form, I know I'm totally
but
interrupting you, but until
it
those
gets better.
chromosomes form at
At what age are you saying they form?
No, I was saying I'm sorry, and I interrupted you. I'm so bad for that. You had a whole thought you were saying, but I just wanted to say, like, no, children at the, when they're young and you're not sleeping, when they're babies, they're so cute and you love them, but you're not sleeping, and all that stuff. And then you get through that, and then they're toddlers, and then it's like they have all the stages. There's blessings and it's hard. It's blessings and it's hard. But when the chromosomes, they say at 24, you're the doctor, so but I believe that's what it is. At 24, the chromosomes form, and then you're like, oh, you're such a mature delight to be around.
It's straight up true. Like, my daughter, she helped me to check in. She helped me to check in. Like, it's just little simple things. And
Yeah.
then, of course, I could do it for myself, right? But, like, she helped me check. I'm like, "Man, that's dope." I don't even need to check. Anyway, my point was, a lot of times people focus on the 0 to 10, like, that period where you've gotta pour into them, where they're dependent on you, and not realizing, dude, that's actually a small phase of it. It's very
Mhm,
demanding, it's very difficult, that's true, but that's a small phase of it. And it moves pretty quickly where they're out of that and they're into
mhm.
their 10 to 20s. Now they're in that phase where they don't even want to hang out with you now. Like, before you had to monitor every moment. By the time they're hitting 10, 15, they don't even want to hang out with you.
They're like, "Okay, bye, mom.
Like,
Bye, dad."
drop me off over here. Don't, oh my goodness. It's crazy. But the point just being, sometimes we characterize it as if the whole thing will be that. Like,
Yeah.
you wouldn't like to have a young person, you wouldn't like to nurture that person, you wouldn't want to mentor that person, you don't want to get to observe a human being evolve. You got to understand, as a man, what it's like to actually see a young lady evolve.
Yeah.
You don't know anything about it, honestly. Like, I mean, I guess
Mhm.
some people have sisters and maybe, but for you as a parent to
Mhm.
watch a young lady evolve,
Yes.
it's powerful. It's
It
like,
is beautiful.
it's hard for you to be as disrespectful. It's on some level, anytime you're looking at a woman subsequently, you're like, that's somebody's daughter.
Mhm.
That's somebody's daughter because you
Ab
got to see that. you got to see it. So anyway, that those are my
Absolutely, absolutely. We had a great time. We definitely made up our time for being late, so that's wonderful for everyone. Wanted you to know, I don't know if you were looking in the chat, but you had at least 6 or 7 people say they would absolutely love to have that collab happen. So, if you wanna give your email where you can follow up and we have to talk about this because we just came up with this idea. Well, I'm sure you were thinking about it for your Mastermind Institute, but I threw in the collab with LMOC, so you know what? You're muted, so we can't hear.
I said I would love to collaborate. I'd
Yes,
love to
okay,
collaborate with this.
okay. So, if you want to put out your email now or if you just want them to
Oh,
wait until we can
oh,
send them
info at the
something.
Mastermind Institute. Info at the Mastermind Institute. Just so you can say, "Hey, I'm dialed in. I'm interested."
Mhm.
I would be super excited to participate in something like that.
That would be a great blessing for our
I think
church
so.
and for the singles out there.
Absolutely.
So, yes, well, thank you, all of you, for joining us this evening. Your questions, your comments, your presence was a blessing. Thank you, Dr. White. And we wish you all a good evening until we see you next time. God bless.
Take care,
Bye
Sister
bye. Good
Catherine.
night.